Welcome back. Today, we're pulling a file that defined the very concept of the modern world. Long before the cloud, before the smartphone, and before AI, there was a single vision that changed the architecture of human thought. Welcome back to the Growth Archive. Today, we open the file of Bill Gates. To understand the man who would become the richest person on Earth, you have to understand the Lakeside School Computer Lab in 1968. While most of the world was still typing on paper, a 13-year-old Bill Gates was obsessed with a teletype Model 33. He didn't just play with it, he stayed up all night, skipping classes, ignoring food, just to see if he could outthink the machine. He and his friend Paul Allen were essentially digital outlaws, hacking into local systems just to find bugs so they could earn free computer time. This was the first entry in his archive, the realization that the world is a series of if-then statements, and if you control the logic, you control the outcome. Bill wasn't just smart, he was competitive in a way that bordered on pathological. At Harvard, he didn't drop out because he was bored. He dropped out because he saw a window closing. In January 1975, the Altair 8800 was on the cover of Popular Electronics. Gates and Allen knew the software revolution was starting. If they didn't lead it, someone else would. They moved to Albuquerque, worked 20-hour days, and slept on office floors. This wasn't just a startup, it was a war. Before we go deeper into the ruthless rise of Microsoft, ask yourself, what is the window of opportunity you are currently ignoring? If you're ready to stop watching history and start making it, hit that subscribe button now. You're watching The Growth Archive, and we are just getting started. By the early 80s, Bill Gates had achieved the impossible. He had convinced IBM to let him provide the operating system for their new PC. But here is the secret in the Growth Archive. Gates didn't even own the software yet. He bought it from another developer for $50,000, renamed it MS-DOS, and licensed it to the world. He didn't build the engine, he owned the road everyone had to drive on. Microsoft became a machine of absolute dominance. Gates was known for the scream. He would berate engineers, calling their ideas the stupidest thing I've ever heard. He wasn't looking for friends, he was looking for perfection. He was the commander of a digital empire, and his goal was simple: a computer on every desk and in every home. But power this absolute creates enemies. By the 90s, the Department of Justice began circling. The monopolist tag was born. Gates went from the hero of the nerd class to the villain of the corporate world. He was the man who refused to blink, even when the entire U.S. government was staring him down. Success on this scale requires a level of focus most people find terrifying. If this deep dive is challenging how you think about ambition, give this video a like. It helps the Growth Archive reach more builders like you. Tell us in the comments, do you believe greatness requires being ruthless? In the late 90s, the image of Bill Gates shifted. The courtroom battles had aged him. The world was changing, and the internet, a technology he initially underestimated, was threatening the Microsoft fortress. But then something shifted in the archive. Influenced by his mother Mary and his wife Melinda, Gates began to look away from the screen and toward the world. He realized that $1 billion could fix a bug in a computer, but it could also eradicate a disease in a village. He stepped down as CEO. He traded the software war for a war on malaria, polio, and poverty. He became a venture philanthropist. He applied the same ruthless logic of Microsoft to global health. If a vaccine wasn't reaching a child, it was a logistics error. If a crop was failing, it was a coding error in the DNA. He was no longer building an empire of code. He was trying to debug the planet itself. Today, Bill Gates is a figure of immense complexity. To some, he is the savior of millions. To others, he is the billionaire who holds too much influence over global policy. But here, in the Growth Archive, we see the through line. Whether he is writing DOS or designing a new type of nuclear reactor, Gates remains the boy at the teletype machine. He believes that every problem, no matter how human, has a technical solution. He lives in a world of data, spreadsheets, and think weeks in isolated cabins. He is the man who proved that a single mind, armed with enough logic and enough capital, can bend the arc of history. He taught us that growth isn't just about money, it's about the scale of the problems you're willing to solve. Bill Gates built the world we live in today, but your story is still being written. If you want to continue exploring the minds that shaped our reality, click the video on your screen now to see our archive on Sam Altman or Jeff Bezos. Subscribe to the Growth Archive, turn on notifications, and remember, the most dangerous thing you can do is stand still. We'll see you in the next one.